Good morning, folks, and welcome to another fantastic edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own fantastic Money Truth expert and whisperer, Judy Copenbarger. How are you?
Well, fantastic. I'm great. I am great this Tuesday morning. How are you doing, Carlos?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, right? I think that might be the theme for the day. The word for the day, right? Fantastic.
Bumper sticker or
Um,
tattoo?
yeah, exactly. Hashtag fantastic, folks. Make sure you put it out there next to hashtag Judy Copenbarger. So,
Love it.
folks, welcome. Today we are talking about, we're in August, believe it or not. And today we are talking about back to school without breaking the bank. A lot of you guys are getting ready to go to school. A lot of you guys already started school. So, in today's episode, you're going to learn how to plan for back to school expenses, prioritize spending, avoid those common shopping traps, and create a realistic budget. Oops, I said the B word, spending plan that supports your family's financial goals throughout the school years. So, what do you say we get started, Judy?
Let's do it. Back to school.
Back to school. So, Judy, for many families, back to school shopping feels like just the second biggest spending season after the holidays. So, why does it catch so many people off guard?
Oh, well, you want to do just like holidays, it's easy to overdo it and go, "Oh, I did it again. Oops, I did it again." Yeah. And it is one of the biggest spending things. You've got to have all the stuff, right? The supplies, the pens, the pencils. If they're little, you need the stickers and the crayons and all the little paints and all that stuff. Clothing, we got to have back to school outfit for the photos, and we got to have the new shoes and the new stuff. And if you're in a place where you're fortunate enough to have uniforms, or like sometimes it's not uniforms, but it's like use these kind of clothing. Like you can have blue or brown or whatever, but use these clothing. So if you have that, you got to get all those too, right? The sports stuff. We got to get ready for field trips, the activity fees, the art supplies, lunches. I mean, there's all these things that you didn't have maybe as expenses in the summer, but now we're back to school and everything's new lunchbox, all this stuff. So the costs can come from every direction and just kind of blindside you if you're not ready.
And that makes me go back and think about those school days when we got to do some of this stuff. And it's crazy how much things have changed, you know what I mean? From then until now.
Yeah. Even technology, right? So we didn't have to figure out how to pay for iPads or for subscriptions to things that they need us to have. Some schools can cover that. Others, it's extra cost. And it might not be a lot, but there's several of them and they add up. And if you got more than one kid, we did litters, we had 5 kids. So it's like back to school was a big deal. It was almost like Christmas in terms of spending, when it came to the bottom line. So it can be pricey and it's worth planning for sure.
And I think one of the biggest assumptions too is, many parents believe that they have to buy everything new, right, for
Mhm.
their kids. So how can families separate actual needs from perceived expectations?
Need versus perceived need. Yeah, it doesn't have to be new, and we want that for our kids. We want them to have new and fresh and all that. We had many years at our house where it just wasn't gonna happen. The kids didn't know we didn't have any money, but we didn't have any money. We were building, paying off school loans and building. And so looking back, they don't really remember, that it was all secondhand. But I'll tell you, like, I was just talking about the uniforms. One big savings that we figured out was you've got kids that families that that have kids just older than you, like just bigger than you. So why not buy their uniforms from last year and they can go buy some from the older kids from their last year stuff. And it's almost still good, right? Maybe they bought them in April or May and then school was out. So they've been sitting there all summer. They're practically new. Doesn't have to be new. And this is one thing, it was an issue of contention at our house because Larry wanted to have new soccer cleats, new balls, new this, new that, everything, especially around sports. He was like the coach for all the sports all the years, and he wanted new everything. And it's like, but what about some cleats that have only been used a few times that you can go to the secondhand store and get, where, some kid grew out of them too fast or the season was over. Why not do that? And so it was always an issue. I'm like, let's save money. He's like, let's get new stuff. It doesn't always have to be new. So that's something you might have to work out at your house. Get a little counseling. You can do it. But it doesn't always have to be new, in my opinion. As soon as you bring it home, as soon as you wear it once or twice, it's not new. So is that a value that we could, place somewhere else? Or is that really, something that's important?
So, folks, welcome. We're definitely talking about school. We're definitely talking about back to school without breaking the bank. And if you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. Watch all of our summer series too. There's been a lot of great content that you guys can go back, take some notes as well too. But we're getting ready for this next phase for a lot of kids. You know, some going to school for the very first time, some final year before they graduate as well too. So talk about let's debunk a little bit of with that money myth, right? It talks about the more you spend, the more prepared your child will be. Right?
Money minute, money myth.
Yeah, there you
The
go.
money minute, money myth. Yeah. Oh, you will be so much more prepared if you spend more money, right? And I've run across people over my time that believe that you don't have to spend more to get more value. You look for ways, if you're smart, if you're frugal, if you're planning, you look for ways to squeeze the juice, squeeze the value out of an experience without having to spend more money. And this isn't for everybody. If you have plenty of money, enjoy it, right? But this is for people that it's just like, it's a bottleneck right now. I've got a whole bunch of kids, they're all little and we have all these expenses, or maybe I'm between jobs, or maybe mom or dad is staying home to be with the kids. And the income we used to have now is not what it was, right? How do we get through that bottleneck? And there are ways to save, there are ways to reduce, and ways to make that happen. So you don't have to spend more to be more prepared. And there's so many things you can do. You can avoid buying duplicates. You can avoid shopping without a list. You can avoid those impulse purchases. Oh, it's on the end. They always put the cool stuff on the end of the aisles. So you pass it and it's like, oh, and then you pass it again. It's like, okay, well, I might as well just put it in the cart. Just don't do that, right? And shopping with a list really does help. Another thing is, well, I know the neighbors are going to have it that way, or the classmates are going to have it that way. And we don't want to show up and be that one that doesn't have the cool stuff and the right logo right here and the right logo on the shoes. And so trying to keep up with other families, I think that's a mistake. That was never a big value for me. A couple of my kids, when they were younger, it was a value. And then when they started buying their own stuff, it's like, why would I go to Nordstrom? I can go to Kohl's. Now, it doesn't mean you never go there and you don't have nice things, but it doesn't have to be the nicest thing and the newest thing every day. Right. So there's just value in that. And I think it's just a balance. I've got really nice things in my closet. I've got stuff that I spent lots and lots and lots of money on. But I also have stuff that I call disposable clothes, right? So I don't need to dress that way every day. And I can do it. It's kind of like when the kids were little, we wanted them to learn good table manners and etiquette and all of that. So we taught them, how to use the right forks and the spoons, what the glass goes, how to set the table, how to use your napkin, all of that stuff. But you don't do that every day, right? But when you need that tool, that etiquette tool, you can pull it out and go, I know what to do. Right? It's the same thing. I know what to wear. I know what to drive. Whatever it is. You don't have to live that way all the time just to be to keep an appearance or to be a show. But you want to have it available to you. So that's a balance. And depending on what your spending plan looks like, budget, right? Spending plan, and what you can afford and what you choose to afford. By the way, it's a choice. You can always get more money. I tell that to people all the time. I don't have enough money. Well, get more. Money's easy. It's managing that has a little art and a science to it. Managing it, keeping more of what you earn, the taxes that's the art. But getting money in this country, are you kidding me? I mean, if you had to in a week make $1,000, $10,000, you could do it. Almost anybody could do it. There's always a way. So that's what I have to say about that.
And you know what? As you're talking about trying to keep up with that, I remember as a kid too. I don't know if you remember this or not, but back in the day with the NFL and all that, they used to sell these it wasn't backpacks. They looked kind of like doctor bags, the old doctor, those black bags that they used to carry, but they would have like the team color and they would have the logo on this thing. And that was like the coolest. Every cool kid would have one of these. And then back then, we're talking, gosh, like over 40 plus years. This was, I think at the time, those kind of bags were like 45, $50, which back then was a lot of money. And it's like, no, you're not getting one of those. You're getting one of something else that's going to cost us $10, $15 or whatever kind of thing. But but you're right. As a kid, you don't understand like why can't I have this, or and that's I think it's something very valuable that we're talking about it now, and which kind of leads me to my next question, which is how can parents teach children good financial habits, right? Especially during back to school shopping.
Oh, this is a great opportunity because it's their stuff. It's important to them. It's not like, we're paying for utilities or something. It's like, yeah, whatever. But this is what they're going to look like. This is what they're going to carry every day. This is what their friends are going to identify them as, right? This is my stuff. This is my thing. But I think, there's such a great lesson here. So like when you go to the grocery store and you're working with your little kids, and I think we should teach them, you look at the cans of soup. And there's one for 70 cents, 80 cents, $1 a dollar, 10, $2, $3.50. Which soup do we buy? Right? They're all soup. Which soup do we buy? And so it always says like price per unit, price per ounce, things like that. Not so much when you go back to school because the dry items, right? So it's going to be like, here's a backpack that's $50. Here's a backpack that's $20. So you can choose, Sally or Fred, you can choose. So you can have this backpack or you could have this backpack, but then you also can get a water bottle and some really cool other stuff to hang on your backpack. Which do you want? You want the backpack with the logo or do you want the one that, allows you to get other stuff? You choose. And you're probably, if you have more than one kid, they're going to come down different way on the spectrum, right? One's going to want the quality one with the logo. The other one's like, why would I do that, right? When I can have all this other stuff. So I think letting them choose is a great opportunity. Back to school is relevant to them. Holidays is a little bit like that too, but there's a lot of secrets around the holidays. We're wrapping it and, they might not be part of all the shopping. But in this case, it's a great opportunity for them to really do some cost analysis. What do I get? How much do I have to spend? What kind of choices should I make within that spending plan? Comparing prices. A lot of supplies you can reuse. So you can say, well, we have this much to spend. But, last year you didn't use up everything. So let's take what we brought back home in the spring. You got some pencils and pens and sharpeners and maybe compasses and calculators. You have stuff from last year. Let's look at that, sharpen everything up, see what we have. And that'll be less that we have to buy. And that leaves more left over for something fun later, or maybe something a little extra special. You might want to spend time. Now it's back to school month for most people. So we don't have time to plan, but if you did, you could have bought a few things in June and then another list in July, another list in August, right? Kind of spread it out in your spending plan. That can help too. But barter with your friends. Maybe you've got friends that have a seventh grader this year, no, eighth grader this year, and they were seventh grade last year. And that's the year that you need to get your first calculator or your first, whatever it is, iPad or something. And so work with other families because they're going to be thinking about this stuff too. Hey, do you have any supplies from last year? Maybe we could, swap something or trade something out or borrow it. And same thing with uniforms. I mean, I mentioned that before, but that for us was a big saver because we had so many in school clothes, every day. So look for the community resources. Ask your school what they have. A lot of times there's a warehouse in the back and they say, we have all these supplies. Nobody ever asks us about it. Find out what they have. They might have a whole big supply of all these things you use up, pencils, pens, crayons, and all that stuff. But they also might have the technology available if you just ask. And of course, look for sales. The back to school sales are already happening. And Labor Day is a big deal. That's a little late for most people these days. But, when we started school as kids, it was always right after Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
Or we'd go like Friday and then get Labor Day off and then go back. I remember thinking that was kind of weird. Long weekend, the first when you start.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah,
everybody
sure.
goes back in August. Like some have already gone back and it's the first week of August. So I don't know if the year is longer or maybe they start later and then or start sooner and then get out way early in May. That could be.
Yeah, and I think that's been the pattern. It's gotten like in some cases almost like the third week of May. Up, some of them are already gone, which is crazy to me.
That's true.
From back in the day.
Graduations, they're
Yeah.
early May now, aren't they? Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
One of the things that this also has reminded me, and as we've talked about this over the years too, which is great. So every year we do during around Christmas time, we take a family And this is the entire community. And we take them shopping, right? To Target, Kohl's, and all of that. It's like their Christmas wish or whatever, right? For families that can't afford it. But one of the things that I think you're going to be very proud of is teaching these little ones, because they get like a $200 credit to whatever they're going to spend. But to your point, teaching them those words like, hey, so my little buddy who I'm shopping with is, okay, we have our spending plan right here with $200. I said, let's, and you know, first thing little kids want to do is just go for toys. That's all they want, the toys, this and that or whatever. But it's kind of cool to see, okay, you can get that toy, you know, and then you show them, okay, now you spent $40 on this. So it leaves you with this much. And then you take them, you know, parents will say, well, please make sure you get socks for them, or you get t-shirts or whatever it is on there. And so as you start adding them up and they start seeing that $200 all of a sudden dwindle, like, okay, this is coming down very fast. And I only have like 3 items or 4 or whatever. Then they start putting things back. I'd rather get this. And so to your point, to actually see it in action and to actually see that it's getting through to them, it's like it's just awesome. Like, okay, you're getting it, you know, and it's too bad that we can't take those moments and just create the Copenbarger University to teach all these kids financial from that moment on, you know. But
let's teach every kid shopping when they're 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Parents can do that. It's simple. And it's really easy. And I've been there. It's really easy to just say, leave the kids at home. I'm just going to go get it done. I'm exhausted. I just want to get the shopping done. But if you just take one at a time with you and then take the extra time, it's those extra little seeds you plant, right? Take the extra time to talk it through, walk it through. Which one should we pick? How would you come to that decision? Let's talk about other ways we could decide this, right? And so you're giving them the reasoning, the thinking that I think a lot of schools don't do anymore. They just kind of feed you the memorize, right? And pass the test. But I think there's so much value in discerning and choosing and reasoning and going through that whole deductive process. How did I get here? It's not just get here, but how did I get here? And let them work that through in any area of life, right? But financially is easy because it's very objective. You spend more, you spend less, you get this or you don't, right? It's such a great opportunity. And again, you know, this time of year, all the things you're buying are very relevant and meaningful for them because it's going to be theirs to use, right? So it's a great opportunity for young parents, school age kids, for sure.
Folks, we are at the end of the show, and you know what that means. Hey, this is our Money Tuesday challenge, and it's going to be fun because it's all about back to school. So I can't wait to hear this.
It is fun. It is fun. You know, I think the back to school challenge for parents out there, anyone listening, grandparents, you know, whoever's spending the money, is going to be a needs, wants, wishes challenge. First question, pencil and paper, right? Do I already have one? Do I already have a resource? Can I borrow one? Can I get one that is used from another person? Or do I already have one back, you know, in the bottom of the closet? Do I already have one? The next one, do I really need it today? Is it a wish, a want, or a need? Do I really need it today? And then the third thing, is there a smarter way to acquire it? You know, a cheaper way to buy it? Is there an online thing? Is there a group thing? We can go in with other people. If I buy 6, you know, it's cheaper than buying 2. So let's find some other people and do it. All those little decisions today make stronger financial habits long-term. So why not do that? But that's your challenge. Do we have it? Do we need it? Is there another way to get it? Boom, write it down. And I think that'll help you save some money, which means more money for other goals in your life.
Folks, take this challenge serious for you parents listening, and make sure you share this out as well with family, and make sure you're also following Judy at judycopenbarger.today. Let us know how it goes. Every parent story is going to be different. So we want to make sure that, you know, we listen. You can share some great stories with us as well. So, and if you have any other topics that you'd like Judy to cover, please send us a message as well. Next week, we're going to uncover the subscription trap, right? To help you find the monthly charges that quietly drain your budget without ever noticing it. So until then, Judy, any last parting words?
Make it a great week and enjoy the rest of the left. Enjoy your summer if there's any left. Bye, guys.
Take care.